Hey, what's going on, guys? Anthony Porter here with Wicked Artistry Candle Code. Want to welcome you back to the channel. Today, listen, I want to help my beginners out as much as I can because in the beginning I had to learn things like this, and I figured why not help somebody else out if you're trying to become a professional or you're a hobbyist, but anyway it goes, you're into the candle making business. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you my top five reasonings or my top five tips for beginner candle makers. It should be pretty good because I got it from somebody. I had to tweak mine. I'm going to give you my tips. This should help you out. All right? Y'all stay tuned. All right, so when you're literally in business for yourself or you're a hobbyist and you're trying to, first of all, you're really trying to determine whether you're going to be in business or you're just going to make things and hand them out to family. Either way, there are my top five things, tips that you need to know to be successful either as a business owner or a hobbyist when it comes to making candles. It's very simple. So without no further ado, let's get into it. And I'm gonna go from one to five because it's the best way to go. So we're gonna start with number one. Number one is the top reason or tip you should be doing when you're trying to start making candles. Do research. Research is number one. Why is research number one? Well, first of all, here's the reason why research is number one. There are a ton of waxes out there that you need to know about. There are a ton of vessels out there, aka jars, the proper wicks, how you should label your stuff, how you should, what wick goes with what wax, and what wax wick goes with what vessel. Um, there's a ton of other things like, uh, do I want to be this way in my marketing? Do I want to be that way in my marketing? In other words, do I want to go with this vessel and market myself around that? Or do I want to go with this vessel and market myself around that? So then it goes back to research because one of the key problems is people tend to jump into something, and especially candle making. I've paid attention to this over the last 8 months. Jump into candle making and literally go on Amazon, buy wax, wicks, uh, jars, lids, stickers, and say, I'm a candle maker. That's cool. But there are certain things that you need to know. And when it gets to it, it's like wax. All right, we're going to talk about wax because wax is one of the most important things when it comes to this candle making business. So when you're researching, research the wax. Research it because see, you have soy wax, you have beeswax, you have preferin wax, you have coconut wax. Now, within all of those four main waxes, there are other waxes that come out of those. So you have soy wax, which then you have a natural blend soy wax, beeswax. You have a beeswax and a soy wax mix. You have pepperin. Pepperin is the same thing. You have a natural and blend, and then you have a cocoa blend mixed with it. You have cocoa soy. You have coconut, which is what cocoa is, and each one of these, like cocoa, then there's coconut apricot, there's a soy coconut blend. So you have 464, you have C3, C6. If you don't know what you're getting, you don't know what you're selling to your customers, and that could be a problem. So you have to do a ton of research in order to get your point across. All right. So research is definitely number one. So check research or write research down. Listen, grab a pen because a lot of times when I do videos, either I'm gonna be straight up with you, or I'm gonna be on the whiteboard, or I have a list on my computer. I'm bringing over what I learned from my affiliate marketing business that I still run, but marketing and things like that, it's best if you write it down because you can go back. You got the notes. You can always go back and look at it and make sure everything is fine. Now, number two, wicks. Now I told you that wax and wicks go hand in hand. Here's the reason why you need to, do your research on your wicks. If you're buying a 464 soy, and I like to do a lot of my shopping at Candle Science. If you're buying a 464 soy, a lot of the soy products have three different type of wicks that they can use. They can use Eco, they can use a CD, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, because I use CD, so I don't go no further. I don't like the Eco wicks. I think it's CSN. CSN. So here's the thing. I use CDs. The CD version of wicks for my soy wax. Here's why. Most of the time, if you pay attention to a candle, all right, if you bought a candle from like a Walmart or something like that, which Walmart's fragrances are pretty good, but there's two things you don't get. For one, sometimes they don't last as long as you would like for them to, and for two, you want to make sure that inside of your vessel you don't have the volcano. The volcano is where the wick burns, and it's not big enough to burn from where the wick is out. So you kind of want to have an even spread. All right. So when you get those in the volcanoes in the middle, and it sinks down, and you have to dig it out, and you have to clip it. That's the reason why you do that, is because of the wick is too small. So that leads, into certain things. So the best thing to do is go out here, a company called woodenwicks.com. They literally have a wick sample kit. Now, most of your companies do have those, but I just ordered one from Wooden Wick because I wanted to get into the wood wicks. So that's the reason why I ordered from Wooden Wick. I want to test those out. I have a ton of wax coming in. With wax being the most essential and wicks being the next best thing to it. So what would be number three? Number three would be your vessels. In other words, your jars. So your jars play an intricate part in the wick that you use and the wax that you use. The wick that you use and the size of the jar go hand in hand, because if you have an 8-ounce jelly jar, a lot of times you try to kind of want to use a smaller wick than if you have a 12.1 ounce tumbler from Candle Science. So like I said, I use the CD brand of wicks. So in my vessels, I make sure, hey, listen here, this is how this is supposed to go. This wick, you center it, and I do a lot of testing, because if I don't test my wicks, then I don't want to put a product out there that is just not good enough. Okay. So surprisingly enough, I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to understand, but I need to venture out. So that's the reason why I'm saying that when you're testing your wicks, jars, so if you put an 8-ounce, CD12 works fine in an 8-ounce, and it also works well in a 12-ounce. But if you have something like you're using a bigger vessel, like an 18-inch vessel that's a double wick vessel, or you have something like the triple wick vessels, guess what? Okay, so now you're using 3 wicks, but you want an even pool pour or even pool melt. So guess what? You need to make sure that you're using either CD12 or higher. CD12, CD16. A lot of these tend to work better with bigger vessels. Okay, so there are a ton of companies out there. Again, if you're looking for something that's going to make you stand out, you have to go back to number one, research. Researching is the way to find out if your brand, the vessels will fit your brand. All right, so That's the only way you're gonna do it is research. You gotta research your wicks. Get you a sample kit. That's how you do it. Research your vessels. You can order one. You can order, well, you can't really order one. They come in cases. So you order one case, you can test out your stuff. Believe it or not, it sounds like you're going to spend more money, but in reality, you're not, because the the risk over reward is not the way that you want to go. You want to go the reward over the risk. So if I spend $20 to get 6 vessels to test those vessels out, and I can make upwards, if I'm going to order in bulk, if they turn out the way that I want them, I'm going to make my money that I spent on my vessels along with my test vessels. And guess what? Boom. I'm good. I made my money back and I made a small profit, because listen, candle making, candle channeling is not a get rich quick scheme, but you can make it a living if you do certain things properly. Testing is one. And that leads me to number 4. Everything you have to do is you have to test it, okay? You need to test your wax to see if it burns good, if it has a throw point. You need to test to make sure that the fragrance that you have over here works with this wax over here. I've literally have found out one of my fragrances that I love and has been my best seller, Apples, Maples, and Bourbon, has a great burn throw with a hot throw and a a cold throw with soy wax versus Cinnabon. Cinnamon buns with soy wax did not put off the fragrance load that I wanted it to. So I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to test it out on, I have some soy wax and some soy wax and coconut wax mix coming in. Now, here's a beauty to that. Coconut wax will burn slow, but the mixture of coconut has a nice hot throw. All right, so understand that. Burn slow, nice hot throw. Okay, now soy wax mixes well with certain fragrances. So when you're doing fragrances, we're gonna get into that too. So I'm gonna show you how I test my fragrances, especially when I want to mix and stand out and be different from every other fragrance on the market. Okay, so that's one. That's another thing. Testing your wicks, testing your fragrance, testing your wax. That's the main. Those are some of the main important parts, important keys to all of this. So with that being said, going into number 5, we've gotten through all of this. All right. Now, in order for you to research and get your wicks right, get your vessels right, get your wax right, get your fragrance right, you're testing. Do me a favor, invest in a candle kit. They have several different ones. If you go on Candle Science, or you go on Pro Candle Supply, or you go on woodenwick.com, 1617, Lone Star Candle Company. These are some of the companies that I tend to use. These are some of the companies that I tend to have fallen in great deal of infatuation with, because for one, the companies out Dream Vessels. For my vessels, I have if you look in the back right there, those pineapple clear vessels are a lovely addition to my luxury line that I'm working on. If you look on the second shelf right there, where the mason jars are sitting on top of what has become my signature line, the ones on the end that you see with the stickers, those are from the winter line. So I started a winter line, and believe it or not, it did rather well, versus like I started on December, the winter line on December the 4th, and by December the 10th I was sold out. And I'm gonna help a lot of people out in the long run with some of the tips on how I did it, because it's business. And I'm not here to keep no secrets, man. Listen, I live in Louisville. There are people who live on the West Coast. I'm in a couple of DIY Facebook groups and Facebook groups for business, and with candle making, all of these groups that I'm in. And I heard the same story, and the story is I launched, and I made one sale. I do well at a market, but I made one sale, and it hasn't clicked on why you're not selling online yet. All right, so I'm gonna try to help out as much as I can, but invest in a candle kit. If you're going to do, listen, man, you're not going to make any money if you're not investing in yourself. Okay. I'm not asking nobody to invest in me. I'm asking for you to invest in yourself. If you're trying to make this a business, or take your hobby to a business, you have to invest in yourself. You have to. I've learned that the hard way. I used to listen to people tell me, you can't, if they want you to put money up front, then it's a scam. No, if they want you to invest in their product in order for you to make money off of their product, that's not a scam. That's called an investment, because your return on investment, $59 for a candle kit at Candle Signs could lead you to, well, let me give you something else. I spent $59 on a candle kit back here in the fall. I started testing. So all in all, I started out probably spending about $300, $300 to $400 to start. But at the end of that $300 to $400 is where I started investing all the money going into bulk products. All right, so 300, about 350, because my candle kit was only $50. So I invested more into everything else. That ain't including shipping. So about $300, $300 to $400. My return on investment I've made about in 3 months, over time, $3,000. So remember, in the fall, I launched my Christmas. Well, it wasn't Christmas. I call it the fall winter collection. But I started making things over time and was just selling, and didn't realize that what I was doing was making profit and paying off everything else. So from September to November, I basically was just sitting there, boom, paying off the investment that I had made. When I hit December, it was pure profit. So I profited about $1,500 to $2,000. Now, gross, I made $3,000. But after I paid off for labels, marketing material, printers, reinvested back into my company, $1,500 was probably what I walked away with. And that was just for December. All right, so it's all about that. So my top, like I said, my top 5 is definitely research your wicks, research your vessels, test, and invest in a candle kit. All right. I hope that helped you out. If you would like to know anything else, man, please feel free to hit me up, ask me questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Until then, we're gonna jump up off of here, man. I hope that God had helped you out. I pray that in some way, shape, or form, you took some type of interest and gained some type of knowledge from your boy Tony Porter, Anthony Porter, aka Tony Porter, at Wicked Artistry Candle Co. Man, I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.